2 years ago, if you would have told me that today I'd be standing on a stage in the middle of the Tian Shan Mountains of Kyrgyzstan, I would have thought you were crazy. I had a great life in a small mountain town in Canada, a wonderful family, my kids are in university, I have a dog, a cat, a big vegetable and flower garden that I love, and a job that I was very passionate about. I think sometimes we don't realize that we're at a personal crossroads until something calls us and we get an opportunity for a new challenge and new learning. When I first started telling my friends and family that I was considering applying for this job, they said, "Where? Kyrgyz what? Is it dangerous? Do you know what you're doing? Are you sure?" And of course I wasn't sure. It's a big deal to pick up your life and change and move across the world. But there was something about being asked to work with a different group of students at a brand new university with a bold vision that was compelling, and I decided I really did want to engage in a new kind of challenge. So a lot of my move here was part of a bigger journey that had happened a few years earlier, and it has to do with Kraft Dinner. Who knows what Kraft Dinner is? A few North Americans do. So Kraft Dinner is a kind of junk food that's really common in North America. It's basically noodles with some chemical cheese. And the reason this became an event in my life was that a young man was brought to me one day in my office in Canada, and he was incredibly depressed. He hadn't been leaving his room. He was very lonely. He was at a place of really thinking a lot about wanting to die. And as part of the assessment I did with him, I talked to him about all kinds of things, including sleep and eating, and he told me all he'd eaten for 3 months was Kraft Dinner. We didn't have a cafeteria at our residence. He didn't know how to cook. He would make 3 boxes in the morning and have it for lunch and dinner. And I know when there's mental health issues or suicidal thinking, it's not all about nutrition, but I do believe our body and mind are very connected. And it concerned me that he hadn't been getting any protein or fruit or vegetables. So as we started to look at how we could help this young man, I worked with student advisors in the university residence, and we came up with an idea, the dinner club. And once a week, a group of students would get together, and a student would often bring a recipe. It might be their grandmother's soup, or we had international students who might bring a recipe for a stir fry. And we would shop together. They'd learn how to shop for good, nutritious food, and then we would cook a meal, and we'd sit down and eat together. And as this started happening, I realized that I was kind of getting out of my office and into the kitchen, and it was creating a different kind of relationship with students. Traditionally, counselors and psychologists sit in their office and they wait for a student with a problem to make an appointment and come in. And that's often really helpful. But some students aren't comfortable with the counseling process, so I found when we had these family-style dinners together, then they'd show up in my office a little while later, but we had a different kind of relationship because we chopped carrots together and made soup and sat down and had a meal where we talked about the week and about stress and how things were going. So this was kind of a starting point for me in really starting to think about how do we do more preventative work in terms of creating relationships with students in the places that they live and study. And I love this quote by Margaret Wheatley. She says, "Whatever the problem, I believe community is the answer." And I think often when we can create a community of belonging, a lot of the other kinds of stresses have a bigger container where we're supporting each other in those kinds of struggles. Oops, I missed one there. So I also just wanted to talk a little bit about the power of listening. So whether it's at the dinner table or in the counseling office, we're learning more and more about how amazing it is when people feel deeply listened to. And this quote from a Cuban proverb says, "Every head is a world." And so we'll never totally understand another person's experience or their reality, but listening is the bridge where we start to really join each other on a journey of understanding. And whenever a student walks into my office, they're at some kind of crossroads. They're trying to make a decision, or they're dealing with some kind of turmoil or issue they're trying to figure out. And I've come to believe more and more that my job isn't to give advice or to tell them what to do, but to create a safe place where they can calm their nervous system, and then their own wisdom and answers can surface. And in addition, neuroscience is really backing up that listening actually changes our brains. And when you look at the structure of the brain, there's just multiple crossroads. And one of the things I think is really fascinating is the things that we think about, the things that we feel, our actions and decisions are always strengthening the neurological pathways of the brain. So like the animals on the mountains in Naryn, where the horses and cows build pathways, the more you travel down a pathway, the easier it is to access. So the more that you are able to access gratitude or appreciation and feel cared for, the more those pathways in your brain are there for your own resilience and well-being. And being listened to is really part of that, because every time you feel really listened to, in my case, the counselor and the student, our brain waves start to synchronize, the heart rate starts to beat in the same time, and the student is able to just find their own place of wisdom when they're in that safe place. So I also just wanted to show you another amazing group of students, some of who are here today, and what I've been learning from them. So this is the Health Council. It's minus a few people in this picture. And this was the group that organized a carnival last fall. And again, I kind of came with my ideas. For many years, I coordinated an event on my Canadian college campus around mental health awareness. But the Health Council said, we need to get to know each other better. We're working so hard. We really need something fun and bonding. So I realized my job was to serve them. They had lots of creativity, lots of dynamic energy and passion, and they put on an amazing carnival that brought together families and all the students. There was a lot of games and fun and dance. And it was another example for me to realize that my job is service, to really listen to their dreams, their goals, and to be of service to them so that they can bring those into the world. So Thich Nhat Hanh, a famous Vietnamese monk, says, "We are here to awaken from the illusion of separateness." I want to end by telling a story about something that happened a few weeks ago. A group of students and some staff and faculty went to the Kumbel Valley, which is about an hour from Naryn. And while we were there, we were welcomed by a Kyrgyz family who had borsuk and kaymak and jam and tea. But then we walked up the canyon behind their winter pasture that had been in this family for many, many generations. And to get into the valley that I'd been to before, we had to cross the river because the snow melt-off had made it more flooded than it had been the last time I was there. And there we were, sort of helping each other across the river. We made a chain, and everyone crossed safely. And when we were on the other side, we were lying on the grass. And I had this glimpse of what it would be like to awaken from the illusion of separateness. I realized that in this group, we were from 7 countries. There was Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, India, the United States, Canada. We had Sunni Muslims and we had Shia Muslims. We had an atheist, a Buddhist, a Christian. We were old and young, male and female. But while we were there, helping each other across, cheering each other on, we were just earthlings who are part of this earth, this planet that is home. Thank you.